Okay, so the answers are highlighted. If you don't know how I got them, ask. But remember, there is more than one way to do all these questions, yes? So please do not stress if you did this part differently than me. This is not middle school. This is not elementary school. I do not care what method you use to solve a problem. Does everybody understand? I know many of you have had situations in the past where you have done work and it has been a different way of doing it and you have lost credit for that. That will not happen here. If you can do any amount of work that gets you to the right answer that works, you'll get credit. Just like in that warm-up thing I gave you yesterday, right? When we had that exponent question and both kids had the right answer, but one had done it totally wrong, just happened to luck into the right answer. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Everybody cool? Anybody got any questions about 17 or 18? 18 is drawn here because if the frame is 1 inch thick, then you have to add an inch to all of those directions if the picture is 3 feet by 5 feet. Everybody with me? That is the type of real life thing that you do with math. Well, it's 3 feet by 5 feet, right? So 5 feet times, I want inches, yes? So 12 inches over 1 foot. The one's on the bottom, so it goes away. 5 times 12 is 60 inches. Then I added the 1 inch on each side to get plus 1, because you need to add them both to get 62 inches. And then same thing up and down. Now this was on a provincial exam a couple of years ago when they still had provincial exams. It's a bad question. It's here on purpose so we can talk about what makes it a bad question. Why is this a bad question? If you don't know that this is what a frame does, it becomes a very difficult question to answer, doesn't it? Right? So again, you would show me what work you did, and maybe you didn't get 200, but you did some work that was right. Everybody understand? That is why it is so important to show me some degree of thinking. Cool? Okay. There is the living room question. It is tricky because it says, again, also from an old provincial exam. Why is it a bad question? A lot of people do not know what crown molding is. Is there anybody in the room that does not know what that is? Some people will say that. That's okay. Asking me, even on a test, what crown molding is, would that be allowed? Of course it would, because that's not math, is it? Right? Crown molding is that stuff that they put around the ceiling. Some of you have it in your house. It goes between the ceiling and the wall. Makes it look pretty. It's like that piece of wood along there between the two walls. Or up there that goes down from the roof. So I had to find out how much I needed because it goes all along here. So I did that calculation right there. But because it's sold by the foot, I had to convert these inches to feet. Because it's sold by a foot, I cannot buy partial. So I had to round up to 71. Then 71 times the price. Now again, if you did 70.83 times the price, do you have 99% of the concept right? Yes or no? Sure you do. Is that going to get you that big happy face? Yeah. Picking up what I'm putting down? Remember, this is all indeed being recorded. Here's the garden shed question. First question I asked was perimeter. So that's the length around the shed. So you just add it all up, 40. This question is a little more difficult. The shed covers 1/3 of my backyard. So my whole backyard is this big. The shed takes up 1/3 of it. That means there's 2/3 free for grass. If the shed is 96 and it's 1/3, then each of these sections must be 96. The grass can only grow in these two because there's a shed over here. So it's 96 times 2 to get 192. Questions? Excellent. One roll is 5 feet squared because a roll of sod is 1 foot long, 1 foot wide, 5 feet long. There's the green. One of them is 5 feet square. I need 192 of them. So I divided by 5. I found I had 38.4 rolls. I cannot buy a partial roll. I cannot go to Safeway and say, hey, I'm only a little bit thirsty. Can I buy half a can of pop? They don't let you do that. Have to buy a whole roll. So even though it's 38.4, we have to round up. It's one of those real life things, not a math thing, which is very important. People see the difference. I'll leave it there for a second while I take a sip of my water. And once again, it's all being recorded. There are the first 8 on the next page. I'll highlight them. The slightly more difficult ones at the bottom here, I showed you the work that went with it. And there's the next 8. Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you noticed, but I did this very, very quickly. A lot of it in my head. It's entirely possible that I have made an error. So do not assume because you have the wrong answer or a different answer than me that it's automatically wrong. Does everybody understand that? Because I'm working very quickly. I don't even have the conversion sheets in front of me. I'm just going on memory. It's possible I've written one wrong. So please question me. I will never be angry. Okay? Everybody okay there? Now these ones, obviously, the thing about the metric system is you could have had them as anything, right? You could have said this was 2,600 millimeters if you wanted to be a chump, right? Or 0.0026 kilometers. That's how metric works. But most likely you have one of these two. And same thing here. There's the imperial ones. Again, if there is a chance of a couple of answers, I put them both. And that's where I got to before the timer went off, so I'll just finish the last two really quickly. 10 inches of ribbon, but she has 5 yards of ribbon. So 5 yards, I need to know that in inches. So it's 36 inches per 1 yard. The one's on the bottom, so I forget about it. 5 times 36 is 180. No, it's not. Yes, it is. 180 inches. And I divide that by 10, and I can make 18 ribbons. Now, is this a real life situation? Is it possible that you might have to do this? What if this came out to a decimal answer? What if the answer, what if it happened to be 183 inches? Then I divide by 10 and I get 18.3. How many ribbons can I make?
18.
Still 18, right? What if it was 187 divided by 10, which would get me 18.7? How many ribbons can I make?
8.
Still 18. Because I can't make the 19th ribbon. Does everybody understand that? This is one of those situations that I've been talking about a lot already in the first 2 days. In math, what would this be? What would we round that to? 19, because it's past 5, right? But in reality...
Please excuse the interruption. Staff, if you could send a runner down to the office with your paper attendance or take attendance in my ed in the next 5 minutes, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Anybody got a pee? No? All right. I got to take attendance in a minute then. Will the airline take your luggage? I think they will. Can they? I can't remember. 2 feet, 3 inches. That's 24 and 3 is 27. 2 feet in width is 24. 1 foot, 4 inches is 16. 27 and 24 and 16, 40. 67. No! They will not take your luggage. And this question. 1 piece of wire. 2 feet, 3 inches, which is 27 inches. Second piece of wire. 1 yard, 1 foot, 8 inches long. 1 yard is 36 inches, 1 foot is 12 inches, then 8 inches. So that's 56 inches. So I got 27 and 56. If I put them together, I lose 1 inch there. So if I laid them right beside each other, what would I have? I'd have 27 and then 56. And it would be a total of 86, 83, right? But they're overlapping by an inch. So this one is now right there, right? So how long's the total? 82, right? Everybody good? And that's where we got to. Everybody take a moment, talk to your neighbor while I take attendance. It will take a second. Okay, if you could all turn to the new page that you don't have yet. I will give these out, and we will move it along. Now, you are going to get your first break when we're done talking about this. You won't have time to work on it. You'll work on it a little when you come back. We'll go over it, then we'll write our first quiz. Cool? Okay. Take one, pass them back. When Sophia gets them, she'll pass them over to Charlotte, who'll pass it to, here we go, Trinity, Loveleen, Erlin, Vikram, Sahil, and over on this side, Sevik will pass it to Sahil Deep, who will pass it to Kiran, who will pass it to Jaskar, who will pass it to Indeep, who will pass it to Loveleen, who will pass it to Muskan, who will pass it to Jasmine, who will pass it to Garleen, who will pass it to Sandeep, who will pass it to Isha, who will pass it to Prusha, who will pass it to Jashanpreet, who will pass it to Jimmy, who will pass it to Tirath, who will pass it to Avian, who will pass it to Zach. Did I screw anybody up? It's a race. Freeze, Avian. I don't think you need to pass those backwards. Did you get them, Josh and Pete and Prusha? You do need to pass them back, apparently. Are there any extras there? No? All right. First try. Oh, there were extras. Let's throw it on my desk. You can see I have a very complicated and tidy filing system. Okay, so we are moving to converting between systems now. So now we are going imperial to metric and metric to imperial. But remember, as I said yesterday, it always works. The rule is you have a value to convert. No matter what that value is, it doesn't matter what class you're in, it doesn't matter what you're doing in real life. And you multiply it by the following fraction. What you want over what you have. There's no new thing here, so we're just getting straight into it. Where do you find these numbers? These are on that data sheet that I handed out yesterday. If you have lost it, I will make more, but that's where you get these numbers. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as the work we've already been doing. So, 19 meters long, measurement to the nearest foot. So I have 19 meters, and I want feet over meters. So I go to my sheet, which I don't have printed on here. What a pain in the butt. Give me a moment. I will sort that out. Why? Because I care. I don't have it on this machine. I'll do that in a moment because it will be needed. 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. That should be what's on your sheet. Is it? I think it's in the middle of the conversions at the top. It is. Oh, no, 1 foot is 30.48 centimeters. Sorry about that. So this, the ones on the top, so we forget about it, 19 divided by 30.48 will get me the centimeters. So when I use my calculator, which I will have to get on here for you guys so you can see it. You all could be doing this question as well on your calculators. That will get you I wanted nearest feet. Yep. 19. I wanted feet. 1 foot is 30. So that gets me 62 meters. 62. No, it doesn't. Damn it. Get rid of this. I gave you guys the wrong data booklet. 19 meters times I want 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. That's what should be there. Yeah, it does. It gives you 62 feet. So, on your data booklet, where it has this, 1 foot equals 30.48 centimeters, I would recommend writing somewhere around there 0.3048 meters, just to remind yourself. Even though you're all perfectly aware that to go from centimeters to meters, you just move the decimal 2 spaces. But it's easier if you actually write that one. Now, in number 2, I need to do some conversions. Do I have to convert one thing or 2 things? I'm only asking who drove further, right? So if I convert one of them, do I know?
Yes.
So I could convert Hannah, which I will do in blue, 62 miles, and I would have to convert that to kilometers. So I multiply by what I want, kilometers, over what I have, miles. Check on my sheet. 1 mile is 1.609. Get rid of the 1, so it's 62 times 1.609, which is whatever it is. Which is 99.75.76 km. Once I have that, I know that Hannah drove further. Everybody with me? Now, if I was going the other way, then I would go 98 km, and I want miles in the numerator, km on the denominator. 1 mile is 1.609. I always cancel the 1, so it's 98 divided by 1.609. And that's 61 miles. So Hannah still drove further. Everybody good? And that's all there is to it. It's the exact same thing, except now you're going to have some weird decimals and stuff like that. Now, there's a couple of places that can trip you up here. For example, question 3 right here. That 6 feet 2 inches, that's actually 2 measurements, isn't it? There's all the feet and then all the inches. But on my driver's license application, I need 1 measurement, just centimeters. So I have to convert a couple of things here, don't I? The way I would do this is I would take this one and get it in inches. So 6 times 12, that covers the 6 feet, plus 2 is 74 inches. Now I can take that to centimeters. I want centimeters, so they're on the top, inches are on the bottom. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So I cancel the 1, and it's 74 times 2.54. Which equals 188 centimeters. Everybody cool? All right, now, I'm going to do this last one, then I'm going to shut up and let you guys work till your break. The truck is 3.5 meters high. The bridge, he's driving in America, the sign says it's 11 feet 9 inches. And this is a real life thing. When you're driving, you will notice when you are driving to Vancouver, just past Langley, there's an overpass for the train. The next time you're driving there, look at the concrete on the bottom of that overpass and see how many chunks are missing from it. Why are those chunks missing? Because people can't do these conversions. Because in Canada, there's a big sign that says that is 4.2 meters high. But if you're an American trucker and you don't know how to convert, there's a lot of chunks of concrete missing from there. When I was a kid in Vancouver, they were pulling a crane under one of the bridges that go to Richmond, and they didn't bother to do this conversion, and the crane hit a giant pipe under the bridge, and that pipe carried all the water from Vancouver into Richmond. It was pretty funny. Well, I mean, not if you were wanting to take a shower or something. But for those of us who were on the Vancouver side where I lived, we still had water. So it was funny. So I got to convert here. Which do I convert? Does it matter? No. I just have to convert one of them. So if I were to convert the meters, if I'm converting the meters, what would I do? What I have, 3.5. What is my fraction going to be in number 4? What am I going to, and what do I already have? I need to go to feet, right? So feet, and I already have meters. One foot is how many meters? .3048. So I always get rid of the 1, so it's 3.5 divided by 0.3048. And I get 11.48 feet. Now, in reality, would you give a measurement in feet that way? Why not? Because it's a decimal, right? But this question isn't about the conversion. The question is his truck going to fit under the bridge? Is 11.48 feet, which is approximately 11.5 feet, is that less than 11 feet 9 inches? Yeah, because 11.5 feet is 11 feet 6 inches, right? That's a big problem when I give these questions to students. They think 11 feet 6 inches is 11.6 feet, and that's wrong because feet aren't in decimals. Everybody good? All right. It is 9:02. You have class until 9:15. I want you to finish to the end of page 26, the end of that stack of work you have, and I will give you your break is in 10 minutes. You are back at 9:25. I will give you until 9:45 to get that done. We will then go over it, and you will write your quiz around 10 o'clock. Okay? Are you allowed to have your data sheet out for the quiz? Yes, because I do not care if you memorize all those conversions, but I do care if you know how to use them. Okay? Go. Okay, so what'd you have for number 5? Because I don't want to do this. What is it? 80 point? Sure, 80.45. Number 6. 164. Sure. I can't do these ones in my head, and I'm too lazy to use my calculator. If you don't have what we have, then, or what I write up here, then question it, and then I'll break up my calculator and check. Okay? Number 7. Pardon me? 183.83. That'd be fine. Number 8. Should be around 700 and something. 773 miles. And then you'll have some decimals, but I don't really care. 8 yards, 3 inches to meters. Anybody? Anybody? Here's the way I would do this one. I would put that to inches, which is 8 times 36. Then I would add these 3 inches to get 291 inches. Then I would change those inches to centimeters, which is 2.54 over 1 inch. Cancel that. 291 times 2.54 gets you whatever it gets you. Which gets you 739.14 centimeters, but you don't want centimeters. What do you want? Meters. So the decimal moves how many places from centi to the base? 2. 7.39 meters. 12 feet 6 inches to meters. Now, this is one that you can do a shortcut on if you're thinking about it. 6 inches is exactly what fraction of a foot? Half. So I could do 12.5 feet, couldn't I? And I want meters. Meters over feet. 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. Cancel the 1, so it's 12.5 times 0.3048. And you get 3.81. And lastly, 14 meters, 28 centimeters to yards. This is metric or imperial? Metric. So I can use decimals, can't I? 14.28 meters. And I want to go to yards. And I can't remember the exact number here. Is it 0.9144? 1 meter is 0.9144 yards, right? 1 meter, 0.9144. Cancel. So it's 14.28 times 0.9144. And that would get you 13.05 yards. Now, if you got to there, have you shown me that you know how to convert? Yes or no? Yes. But we don't really like this answer, do we? Because it's got the decimals, yeah? So this is this happy face. Super high B happy face. You want that super A happy face with my tongue sticking out and my eyes squinty because I can't even keep them open because I'm so happy? Then you would have to convert that, right? Into what? Inches would be the best one, right? So it would be 0.05 yards, and you would want inches, correct? Which is 36 over 1 yard. That cancels, so 36 times 0.05 to get 1.8. So 13 yards, and then you could round that 8 up to 2 inches. That would get you the super happy fun times happy face. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Which level is what we would use in real life? Would we bother going all the way to here if we were just doing a conversion? No, we would stop here. I need about 13 yards of whatever it is. Does everybody understand? Sweet. All right. I drove me a long way. This is a true story. I actually drove that far through the United States. I drove all the way to South Carolina. Yo.
On the last question, you also have the miles and yards.
What? Meters and yards? Did I?
Yeah.
1 meter is not 0.9144 yards. Everybody said it was. 1 yard is 0.9. You guys. Now I look like a doofus. I even looked over and asked. So, I want to go to yards. I have meters. So 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. So it's cancel. And this is what happens when you don't have your sheet in front of you, and you ask your guys in the front, and they all say, "You got it, Myers, way to go." Even though they have their sheet in front of them. So it's really 14.28 divided by 0.9144. So it's actually 15.61. And then you do all the same stuff. Obviously, I need to have my sheet right in front of me. All right, so back to here. So I have miles, I need kilometers. 11,745 km. And I want, miles And I want km. 1.609 over 1 mile. The 1 cancels. So it's 18,877 or something, right? 18,877? 18,897. And that's close enough, right? I know there's some decimal places, but let's be honest, right? I drove almost 20,000 kilometers. Does a couple of extra meters make a difference? No. Now, that's how many kilometers I drove. How long did it take me? Well, if I drove 85 kilometers per hour, and I had to go through that many kilometers, what do I have to do with 18,897? Divide by 85. And I get an answer of, I believe it's 222, is it not? 222.3 whatever. 0.3 blah. Who cares? So, depending on how many decimals you keep, your answers from here on might be different than mine, yes? Do I care about that? No. We are not sending a rocket ship to Pluto. We do not have to be exact. I am checking to see if you can have the concepts down. So what number is that? Is that hours, minutes, days, weeks, months?
Hours.
That is hours. I want this number in days, hours, and minutes, correct? So how do I go from hours to days? Well, I'm at 222 hours, and I want days. Days over hours. 1 day is 24 hours. The 1 cancels, so I get 222 divided by 24. And I get 9.25 days. Yes? Now, some of you are going to have a different decimal there, right? Because you kept longer, more decimals here. Does it matter? No. So now I know I have 9 days, not 9 bays. Still, I'm 43 years old, and sometimes I forget that bees have a belly that bumps into the next letter. How many of you had your kindergarten teachers teach you that? No? Okay, fine. You don't have to be that way. 9 days. But I've got 0.25 of a day left. So 0.25 days. The next level I need is hours, right? 0.25 times hours over days. 1 day is 24 hours. 0.25 times 24 is 6 hours. And that's exact, right? So then, 6 hours. And you could stop if you did it that way. Now, if you kept the 0.23, you're going to have some minutes left over, aren't you? Because this was going to be something like 6.12 hours or some crap like that, right? So then, we only care about the 0.12 hours. Then we are multiplying, we want minutes. So it's 60 for 1 hour, 0.12 times 60, and that gets you your minutes. Is everybody with me? Now, the next question I ask when I give this on a test, because sometimes I do, was Myers left on August 1st. What day would you expect him to get home? And almost the whole class says, well, he'll get home on August 11th. Is that right? Why not? Well, 9 days, 6 hours. You're close. It has to do with driving time. This is how much time I drove, right? Did I drive for 9 days and 6 hours straight? What did I need to do? Eat, sleep, pee, visit Graceland, where Elvis was born, or Elvis's house, which I did. Go surfing, which I did. Visit Gatlinburg, which I did because Gatlinburg is in the Johnny Cash song Boy Named Sue. Visit the Jack Daniels Distillery, which I did. Visit the Grand Canyon, which I did. What else did I do on that trip? All kinds of stuff. So, that's always my next question there. And the whole class says, oh, he'll get back on August 11th. I know you guys all, students all think their teachers are super. You don't. Just drop it anywhere. I have a very complicated filing system. All right, we all good? Okay. This page. Give me some answers, people. What do you got for A? How much? 7.4 feet? 7.1 feet. Okay. Am I happy with that? Yeah, because you know how to do the conversion. Would we really say that? Am I 7.1 feet tall? No. Right? I'm 7 feet 1 inch in this case. What about B? I want a different color today. I'm feeling purple. $25 yards times, I want meters, 22.86. That sounds about right. 6 feet in centimeters, 183. Sounds about right. 160 miles in kilometers, 299. 99. Kilometers are smaller than miles? Yeah. So how can 160 miles be less than kilometers? I know what you're saying, man. 99 is less than 160, right? But a kilometer is bigger than a mile. Right? I mean, a mile is bigger than a kilometer, right? So how could my kilometers be less than 160? That's what I'm talking about on the first day, right? You have to, you before you do any math, have an idea of where you're going, right? Because kilometers are smaller than miles. So I got to multiply. I want the kilometers up top. So it's 1.609 over 1. So I got to do 160 times 1.609 to get, what, 250? 257? Understand? That's what I was trying to get at the very, very first thing we did when we were talking about reference, right? How tall is a giraffe if you don't have a tape measure? You got to be able to have it make sense. 2,200 kilometers to miles. Now, miles are less than kilometers, so this number should be smaller than 2,200, right? And what is it? No, it's right, but 1367 is the last 4 digits of a phone number. Tell me a number. It's math class.
1,367.
There you go. Nice. 2.25 millimeters to the nearest inch is 1. 2.5 meters to the nearest foot. Nearest foot. So no fractions or decimals. What would it be? 8 feet. 10 meters to the nearest yard. Yards and meters is a hard one because they're almost the same, right? People always screw it up. 10 meters, and I want yards over meters. Which is it? I'm not asking these three because they make me look like a chump. I go to my sheet and I see 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. So the 1 cancels. So it's 10 divided by 0.9144, which is 11, right? Just check. 10.93 was 11 yards. And 150 kilometers to the nearest mile, 93. One foot 10 inches to centimeters. I would make that 22 inches and then convert 2.54 to get whatever it is. 44.56. Yards, feet, inches to centimeters. I would turn that all to inches. So that's 72 plus 24 plus 5 is 92, 96, 101 inches times 2.54 to get around 255. $257 actually. $1,227 km, and I want miles. The one cancels. What's the answer? What's the answer? He waited patiently. 762.5. So 763 would be better. Nobody made fun of me for that typo. Thank you. Usually somebody makes fun of me for that typo. Nobody did. Bonus points for everyone. When I am converting 7 feet 6 inches, what can I do with that 6 inches? Because it happens to work out perfectly. You can make it a half, right? So you can go 7.5 feet, and I'm going to convert that to meters. 0.3048 meters. 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. Is 2.286. My truck is 2.3. Will it fit? No. You're going to take a chunk out of the concrete like the train bridge on the highway. Lacrosse field is 110 yards. So I got to convert that to meters. Tough one. 0.9144 over 1, and then 60 times 0.9144. And that gets you those answers. And they are 100.6 and 54.9. Do you have to convert both of them in number 7? No, you just got to convert one. It doesn't matter which one you convert. Which river's longer? And by how much? You went to kilometers, I'm sorry? So the Tennessee is longer. And your answer was by how much? 50.57 km. If you did miles, it was about 30. Now, number 8 and number 9 are actually very difficult questions. That's why they're the last things. What makes number 8 difficult? We have 2 different things we're counting now, aren't we? Money and a distance, right? I want to know which is a better price. Well, I would do this question this way. 0.89 per yard is the same thing as 0.89 per 9144 meters, correct? Because 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. Everyone agree? So now all I got to do is check which is better, 0.89 divided by 0.9144 or 0.93 divided by 1 meter. So all I got to do is do that division. 0.93 divided by 1 is 0.93. Then check this one. 0.89 divided by 0.9144 is 0.97. So where are you going to buy your fabric? This place. The warehouse. And that's the real life question, right? Especially in this day and age where we can buy stuff from the States. Funny thing about that, do you want to know? You guys all remember when Target came to Canada? Yeah, it was a good 5 minutes. Do you know why the number one reason they failed, Charlotte? How many of you guys ever went into the Target down there by Costco? Yeah, Target is great in the States. Target up here, every building, every store had empty shelves. Anybody know why? Where's Target headquartered? America or Canada? What do they measure in America? Imperial. What do they measure in Canada? Metric. So every time they tried to fill their shelves, they weren't doing the math right. That's why the shelves were empty. And it was costing them something like $5 million a day or some crap like that. The IB business teacher at this school did a whole project on it. So when you do that thing where kids do in math class, when am I ever going to need this in real life? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it matters. Basketball, everyone's favorite sport, except mine. How many of you love basketball more than anything in the whole wide world? None of you? None of you play football. None of you play basketball. One of you must play a sport. What's left? Soccer. Some of you will play rugby. I'm hoping some will play rugby. I don't recognize you, though. Yeah. You only play club? You played for Yale, though. Oh, that's why. Okay, where do you play? ATSS. Then I reffed your game when you played that team from Surrey. Yeah, okay. Good job. Best sport in the world. So, the net's 10 feet off the ground. The basketball player can reach 2.5 meters. How high does he have to jump to get 6 inches above the rim? So how far does he have to jump? 27 point. Let's see. He has to get to 10.5 feet, right? Right? He can jump 2.5 meters. So I would take that 2.5 meters, which is 250 centimeters, and convert it to inches. 1 over 2.54. So this guy already has 98 inches covered. He's got to get up to 10.5 feet. 12 inches for 1 foot. He's got to get up to 126 inches. And he's covered 98 of those inches with his how far he can reach. So all you had to do is subtract 28 inches. And when Zach did the work, 27.57, what does that round up to? 28. Awesome, possum. Any questions? Because I'm about to give you your first quiz. It's 12 questions and it's all multiple choice. Which means I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do it, and then we're going to mark it. Everybody good? Nobody wants to ask a question? Okay, clear your desks off except for a calculator, pencil, or pen, but preferably pencil because it's a math class, and your conversion sheets. Yes, Jimmy. Can you borrow a calculator? It's the second day of math. I did that whole thing yesterday about calculator thieves. I have one. Which one? I didn't need to divide it. That's how high he has to reach, and he can already reach 98. So he has to jump 28 inches off the ground. Everybody good? All right, listen to me and listen to me closely. You're going to write the quiz. You're going to hand it back to me with only your name on it. I don't need the date. I don't need your sign. I don't need your, weather reports. I just need your name. Okay, there are no other blocks that I teach. Just write your name. Why am I making a big deal out of this? Because even though I am making a big deal out of this, at least 3 of you wouldn't have written your name. Even though I'm making a big deal out of it, I still am pretty sure 1 of you won't write your name. I don't know why, but it happens. Then you will bring it back to me. When I finish the next lesson you are working, I will mark it. It will take me 5 minutes. Then I will give it back to you. Then we will go over it. Okay? Okay. Right now, we're not really pressed for time, right? We're going along at a good pace. We're on a good schedule. Later in the semester, if we end up at a point where I'm concerned that we are running out of time, we may mark quizzes as a class. But we'll wait and see. Okay? Okay. Take one, pass them back. When everybody has one, I'll start the timer. You will have 10 minutes. When the timer goes off, anybody still writing will bring their quizzes to me. Because I had a Mexican student in my class last semester, and I had a Mexican student living in my home. So the kid from Mexico who was in my class gave me the flag because I was cheering for Mexico in the World Cup because they kicked Germany's ass. But now they're out because of stupid Brazil. What are you going to do?
What about Canadian flag?
Huh?
What about Canadian?
I'm in Canada. I have Go Canada to go back there.
They like a big flag.
Avian. Ready? Set. Go. I know a bunch of people started early, but that's okay. Remember to put your name on it. I know some of you have already forgotten and are doing the first question without writing your name.